mixture of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling, wrestling, boxing, and kickboxing.
Today's sport, I would say you got Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, judo.
From judo to taekwondo to karate to kickboxing.
Yeah, just like what it sounds, it's a mixture of different martial arts. You know, you might say it came to America with the UFC starting around '93 or so, and that was, you know, that was a little bit different than it is nowadays. That was pretty much all these different styles together. You know, you'd have guys going in that was like karate against a boxer, or a kung fu expert against a tai chi expert, or something crazy like that. And it was really, it wasn't, you know, people weren't mixed like they were today. People came from like one style. So more or less it started like that, and what people started to see was that the guy who won the first 3 or 4 UFCs was Royce Gracie, who came from the style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a grappling style.
They started having different challenges from style to see what style of martial art was better. You know, whether stand-up fighters were better than ground fighters, rather better than boxers. And
it's like, so people started doing basically trial and error, what works. So people started seeing that the grappling works. So a lot of people got into that, started training that, and then they realized, you know, when some guys said, well, hey, let's, what if we, you know, train some wrestling, and so we don't get taken down by these, you know, guys who want to, you know, so people started getting into wrestling, and then the guys who, you know, let's get some stand-up going. So basically the arts that worked are pretty much, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a form of grappling. You know, grappling in any style, really. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, submission wrestling. It's all relatively similar. In wrestling, good old wrestling, you know, high school, collegiate wrestling, folk style wrestling, whatever you want to call it. And the stand-up styles that worked was good old boxing and basically kickboxing.
I think they did like basically like what you'd see tough man contests, and these guys from Brazil named the Gracies, they came to America and they do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they kind of brought their take on what fighting is all about, and so they had fights, and these little 180-pound guys, 170-pound guys were beating the crap out of these 350-pound guys, you know, and it was all with these submission locks, and then everyone was saying, wow, these little guys, what are they doing? How is this, you know, how's this possible? So people in America started adapting to what they were teaching. And what
Undefeated right here, undefeated.
Starting out, it's a nerve-wracking experience. Some guys that you think are going to be really good at it fall apart in competition. Some of the guys who handle competition best are guys that come from a wrestling background, because they're so used to competing all through high school, all through college, you know, and they just had that competition mindset, so they handle it well. To be the best, ideally, you would want to have a combination of just great physical greatness, you know, great genetics, great athletic ability, and then obviously good training. You need to go to a good school. I mean, a great mental aspect of being able to compete well, and, you know, that competitive edge. And I think you could have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder too, you know, to kind of, you know, in a good way. You know what I mean? You want to, you know, you don't want to be like, you know, blah blah blah. You want to be able to push yourself and always test yourself, and, you know, so that's pretty much what I think it takes to be a great fighter.
Everybody has an instinct to fight an event and survive and defend himself.
It's almost like you don't. I didn't even remember what happened. It was like instinct just took over. You know, it's almost like a possum gets back in the corner, and it's time. Now it's time to fight, and you do everything you trained. That's why you train, because almost instinctively, whatever you know and whatever you can do is going to come out.
And what makes the difference is what you are able to apply, put yourself into a position that you remember in trainings, and you apply that during the fight. And that's what makes the difference if you manage to, but a lot of it is instinct, you know.
Oh, relieved. And I can eat food without, I can go get McDonald's after. That's my main thing.
Oh, I feel so good, because I know that now I'm going to have like at least 2-3 weeks where I can eat whatever I want.
There's nothing better than that, especially when you win, you know. Even if you lose sometimes, I mean, the next day you're kind of disappointed, but you know you got in there and you did what you could, you tried your best, and it's over with, you know.
Of course I got my share of loss like every fighter. You cannot stay at the top And losing, it's almost as good as winning, because it puts you back, it makes you think, and if you're really motivated to that and want the dedication for your art, you're going to come back really hard at it.
I had to tap, but after that, you know, I learned that I would never take anybody lightly ever again.
I just went out to Vegas, tried to get on Ultimate Fighter 6. We'll see if they call me back. You know, I'm not.
As far as I can in the sport, you know, keep in good shape.
Okay.
I like fighting too, but
All right.
as far as I can, you know.
Everybody's goal, right, is to make it to the UFC, I would think, you know. I mean, well, not everybody's goal, but I mean, the guys who are really pursuing it, you probably want to be there, you know.
If I manage to do one fight, maybe one fight in the UFC, maybe that's a dream. If I manage to get that, that will be my end of the career. I will have achieved a goal.
That's the spot to be. If you can make it there, you did it, you know.